Well, the Tundra Dragon was a little bit of a letdown, and by a little bit, I kind of actually mean a lot, but nonetheless, though, the chapter did introduce some really cool new characters.
Toriko, number 71, the Headwind path.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters and gourmet hunters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and the chilling, the tantalizing, the hunger-inducing tale of Toriko. Now, of course, our last chapter saw us with finishing off Volume 8, and then, of course, we're diving headlong into Volume 9 over here. The chapter ended up with Toriko, Komatsu, Takimaru, that whole first party that had been taken, you know, and then climbed up to the summit of this cliff. They get over the top, and you see this imposing, menacing, huge Tundra Dragon. And that's how everything left off for you. So so that definitely left us hanging there. That's how things left off, and that's certainly where things pick up. I love the cover art over here too as well. You got Toriko looking pretty cool there, and Takimaru in their thermal suits that they were given. And then too, we've got Match, it looks like, and I don't know, a couple other characters. I'm not quite, maybe that Zongi back there. Yeah, I think that's Zongi. So, anyways, so we will dive right in over here. This chapter really just kind of goes to move us forward a little bit. And tell you the truth, the whole Tundra Dragon thing, in a way, it bothers me a little bit because it was anticlimactic. They get to the top over here, right? And it turns out this thing is frozen, and has been, it looks like, for some time. There's several other people, gourmet hunters, that we don't presume. Komatsu asks Toriko, and he says these are other gourmet hunters. That's why this is called Ice Hell. They simply froze, and then the dragon, which is supposed to be this imposing, you know, beast that's there, right? He winds up freezing, and this is some kind of tundra, you assume, like ice, you know, used to the cold type of dragon. But I guess that just goes to show you that if he froze, you know, things must be pretty bad up there. So, so as everybody gets over the top and what have you, and you get this group going, the wind is just terrible. Everything's just kind of beating down on us over here. We get a quick, and they even say it's like hurricane force winds, negative 80 below, you know, up there, just absolutely insane. But then we get a kind of quick flash back to the actual, back down to the ship that they came there on, and we wind up seeing that the older guy that I thought had clones or whatever, he has several clones. So that's kind of cool. We wind up seeing that he's got rows and rows of them, and he winds up announcing that Gourmet Corp is actually here. Obviously he figured that by you know, by all of his guards and whatnot that have been killed in the attempted assassination on him. But of course he wasn't even there. So nonetheless, though, very cool stuff. We also wind up seeing, and we're introduced to him later on, that Bogie Woods character, and apparently he can like shapeshift or maybe go into other people and take over their bodies or something like that, because he winds up going and he winds up, looks like he gets into the body of the character. He's in the second party that goes up, but the character, he looks kind of like an Asian mafia guy. You know, he's got just, you know, slicked back black hair. He's got the little, almost looks like a dude from the Matrix, right? And anyway, so I'm assuming that he can take over his body, because he's introduced a little bit later on in the chapter as we see the second party come up over here. But back to the first party real quick before I get completely off topic and forget what I was going to say. So the first party goes, and as they're kind of trekking through, some people split up. You know, Zongi is really just there for comic relief. Which way we're going to go? And he's like, what we're going to do is we're going to go the easy way, which is basically the hard way. It's the one that looks really hard. I've played plenty of RPGs in my time, so we're going to go this way, you know? And so anyway, Takimaru, Match, Komatsu, Toriko, as they're going and kind of trying to traverse this wasteland, this hell, this ice hell, shards, for the heavy winds coming, actually create shards of, you know, the snow. It actually winds up going and elongating and turning into shards of ice, because just obviously the extreme temperatures. And these things, of course, start flying at them and what have you. Toriko narrowly saves somebody's life and winds up grabbing, the thing on. And actually, the guy's life who he saved, or it looks like he started to freeze over, it looks exactly like the Matrix dude that I was talking about that winds up being that Bogie Woods from Gourmet Corp. And he makes some mention later on, too, about that other security officer was weaker or something like that. So I'm assuming that he just wound up jumping from from one body to another or something along those lines. Not really quite sure. It was a little bit hard to figure out, you know. So, nonetheless, though, we wind up seeing after a little bit, they have, Toriko, we presume it was him, wound up cutting out like a block in the ice and moving it out so they could actually get out of the wind and set up some tents and try to get Komatsu warmer. Even with these thermal suits, everybody is just not having a great time of it. Takimaru winds up making something there to heat up Komatsu, to heat him up, something for him to drink. And Komatsu, of course, is very thankful and happy for it. Nonetheless, though, Toriko goes and he's kind of standing outside and he's got something else on his mind, and that's kind of when it goes and it flips to the second party a little bit earlier when they came up by the Tundra Dragon, and I'm thinking it's that he can sense there's something out of place. He feels that the shit's about to hit the fan, that they're not the only ones that are there looking for the century soup, right? And of course the run-ins he's already had with Gourmet Corp. So then the chapter goes and, like I said, it flip-flops, and so the last time here it flip-flops, it goes back to, obviously that character that we find out is Bogie Woods, or, well, he's gone, I guess, taken over that person's body, what have you, and comes up with that second party. And as that second party kind of moves on, he goes and he sees there's like a figure like lying, it looks like, in the snow, and he's like, "Hey, you can come out now," you know. And we wind up finding out that this dude that comes out here, I'll show a picture of him over here. This guy is Barry Gamon, and he's some big looking, looks kind of like the Thing from the Fantastic Four. Actually, pretty cool looking over here. But he's Gourmet Corp Branch 4 Culinary Head. And then we wind up getting, and they say, "Well, where's the vice chef?" and this and that. And of course, you see it, Bogie Woods. And then it says, "Oh yeah, probably sleeping," this and that. And all of a sudden, out of the Tundra Dragon, an explosion comes, and we're introduced to this third vice chef that we had only heard of up until now. We actually get to meet and see, and it's this Tommyrod. Now, a lot of people have made a real big deal about this guy. I guess it's a guy, but to me, it looks kind of like a weird, like, female bug. I don't know, maybe I'm looking at things wrong over there, but it definitely looks like some kind of more of like a feminine type of design. And then of course the wings and everything like that, just very slender and what have you. And to me, again, looks like it just looks like a freaking some kind of bug or whatever. But definitely, if you're one of the three vice chefs of Gourmet Corp, you're someone not to be trifled with. So that is how the chapter though ends off. And really, for the most part, the purpose of this one, I think, was just to really not only introduce those few characters and let us know, hey, Gourmet Corp is here, so we know that's going to escalate quickly, more likely than not. But then also just to kind of give an actual vivid, great depiction of this ice hell. They talked about it and how bad it was and everything else. But even Toriko goes and says this is going to be his toughest challenge yet. The environment itself is definitely, there's definitely something to be said for an environment like this, because of the fact that, and I said something similar in a One Piece review recently about Water 7, sometimes the background character, or the background, is like a character. It actually has life that's breathed into it, and it's not just this static thing to draw in the background to show where they're at. That's the feeling that I get from this just thus far, and just kind of seeing the vivid descriptions, and the great lengths that they've gone to describe what this ice hell is actually like. And of course, I've only hit the tip of the iceberg, no pun intended. So, but anyway, my chapter question though is, brothers and sisters, what are your thoughts on the introduction of Barry Gamon? We had seen Bogie Woods prior. We saw him prior when they were having, the Gourmet Corp was having their meeting over there, and I want to say that was around the end of the Regal Mammoth arc, if I remember correctly, so maybe 20 chapters ago, 15, 20 chapters. So we did see Bogie Woods. Now we know kind of what one of his powers are. This Barry Gamon obviously is impervious to cold, because he just kind of froze over and wound up just relaxing, taking himself a little nap there, and then was able to get up and was fine. And then, of course, the Vice Chef Tommyrod. Let me know what your thoughts are on those three, and put your answer, brothers and sisters, in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation.
Look, man, you gotta follow me over on my other channel, the Twitter, the Facebook, and the Instagram.